Hi, it's Ivy here today, and today I have a brand new video for you all. You're probably shocked, you're probably like, oh my gosh, a Tuesday upload? Oh my gosh, what is this? I mean, same. But I've decided to kind of do a new schedule. I'm going to be uploading a main video every single Tuesday, and I've got a brand new segment that I kind of want to upload every Friday. I know this is definitely different from all the fitness and fashion videos that I want to do, but I 100% love talking about the topic of money and savings and all of that. So this is something that I have been wanting to do for ages, and I'm going to sit down and do it right now. Before we get on into the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to my favorite comment of the week from my YouTube video, also my favorite comment on my Instagram photo. So this is my favorite from my previous YouTube video that I posted last week, as well as that this is my favorite Instagram comment, which somebody commented on my latest Instagram photo. Thank you very much for that. If you want to be featured in next week's video, just make sure to comment down below something meaningful that you think I would like to read, or also comment on this Instagram photo which I posted really recently, and my favorite will be featured in next week's video. But without further ado, let's get on into the video. So if you haven't already seen the title of the video, obviously we're going to be talking about money and savings. I feel like it's so controversial to talk about money, especially as a Christian. I don't want people to think that I'm like money hungry, love money, greedy, or anything like that. I just feel like it is such a huge topic to talk about, and I love the topic of saving. It just really gets me going. It's like a little mini passion that I have. Obviously, as you can see from the title of this video, this is going to be a video on how I saved $10,000 in 6 months. I may have exaggerated that a little bit. I was kind of saving between May last year to December last year. I quickly first want to give two examples in which I was able to save huge lump sums of money. So the first example was around 2017. I was in university. I was able to save around $8,000 to buy my car outright. And the second time I was able to save a huge lump sum of money was obviously from my wedding and my honeymoon. We spent around just a little bit over $20,000 for both the wedding and the honeymoon, and I saved up half of that, and I was able to do that in less than a year, obviously like 6 or 7 months or so. I definitely feel like talking about money is so important. I feel like it's such a taboo topic that people don't really want to talk about because it makes them really uncomfortable, and I totally understand that, but at the same time I just feel like I don't want to give too much power to money, but I feel like money is freedom in a kind of way. Having money and having the right amounts of money and savings and all that is really good. It gets you out of situations that you kind of don't want to be in. Say you really want to move out of home because home life is not good. Money is freedom in that kind of situation. Say you don't want to work your 9-to-5 job anymore. I feel like having a huge lump sum of money or savings is freedom in that sense as well, and I really just want to be able to, I guess, empower people and let people know that you can do it. Even if you're a university student, even if you're a casual worker and work maybe a couple hours a week, you definitely can do it, because I know I did. There are a few things to take into account though. Obviously during these times I was living at home and I was living with my family, and so during the first time in 2017 when I saved this huge lump sum of money for my car, I had this job at this place called IGA. It was a supermarket. I worked about maybe 12 hours consistently a week. I was able to make some savings from that, but not able to make a lot in such a short amount of time. Then I got this new job. I worked at David Jones for this group called CRG, the Country Road Group, and I was able to pick up something like 25 to 30 hours a week for a while during that time, and that's when I was able to save a huge lump sum of money. Again, I was living with my parents, didn't have very many expenses. I was a university student, and so that was a sitch. Last year when I was able to save a huge lump sum of money for my wedding, I was living at home again with my parents. I worked part-time, 2 different jobs, but then I worked full-time towards the end of the year. Something that I kind of left out earlier before that I didn't mention was kind of like a current life-ish update on how I'm spending and saving at the moment. Obviously, I now live at a home after getting married. I've lived at home for the past 4 months. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this. I obviously have more expenses than I did before living at home with my parents. In saying that though, I also now work part-time. I work 4 days a week instead of full-time, 5 days a week. But my full-time wasn't even like that much. I literally earned, like, this is so uncomfortable to say, but I'm just gonna say it, $40,000 a year, which is kind of, if you put it into the perspective that I have studied for 5 years and gotten 2 degrees professionally and am working in Australia, it's not a lot for a lot of starting salaries and your first time job, but in saying that, I was very grateful to have the experience and the money in the first place to be able to pay for my wedding. And also, so now I earn less money than I did before. And also, I don't live at home anymore, but in saying that, I do have a decent amount of savings applying these tips. I have lots of different savings in different accounts, and I have also another stream of revenue which is not that big, but it's something that allows me to save up quite a bit, like enough for a trip, enough for some nice clothes, which is obviously YouTube. So thanks YouTube. Back to the video. So I'm gonna get on into the tips and also give some real life examples and things that I did along the way that would really help paint the picture of these tips. So the first tip that I have is create a budget spreadsheet. Pretty much just like a list of everything that you pay for. So make a list of literally everything, even the smallest things that you want to save for that you don't necessarily need to save for. I have these lists in my Apple Notes and I update it as I go depending on every new expense that I have. So when I was living at home, this expense list was a lot shorter than it is now that I live out of home. Now that I live out of home, it's a whole lot more longer. I'm probably gonna take a screenshot and kind of pull it up here on the side. I have about 12 necessary accounts that I have expenses coming in and out of, and then 3 kind of rainy day savings accounts where they're kind of just for emergencies or things that I could maybe save up for just in case something happens. And also I have 3 separate savings accounts on top of that. So altogether that's about 18 accounts. Literally make a list of everything that you spend your money on, like everything, food, rent, even if you want to budget in coffees that you have a week, bubble teas that you have a week, eyelashes if you want to do them every single month, nails, every small petty thing, Spotify, even if it costs you $3 a month, like literally make a huge list of everything, budget everything. I find that once you make a huge list, obviously you put the price of what you're paying towards each thing every single fortnight or month, however often that you get paid. I get paid every fortnight, so I pretty much add the expense that I'll be putting in every fortnight and then add the whole total of the list, and then at the very end you'll get your overall expenses and how much you pretty much need to have at the end of the fortnight just to pay for all your bills. The second tip that I have, this is not something that I actually just got for myself, it's something that my husband taught me. It is setting up a new bank account for literally everything. Like I just said before, I actually have 18 accounts for everything that I have, 12 expenses accounts where money comes in and out of just for me to have like everyday living. I have 3 rainy day accounts. They're kind of just really random. Okay, so these 3 rainy day accounts, I'm not strictly putting so much money into it. They're just accounts that I put money into just in case I need the money. So I put money away for the dogs just in case it's like an emergency, say one of them needs surgery, one of them is really sick, and I put money away for that every single week. I put money away for travel savings, not that we can travel at the moment. More money was supposed to go into this because we had quite a few travel plans for the next year and a bit. Seeing as that's put on hold, I'm not putting as much money in it as I probably would have been doing. And the third rainy day account is, this is so random, but it's a baby account just in case anything happens. I'm not intentionally trying to get pregnant, of course, but like, you know, if it happens, it happens. We'll have some savings for it, and there's that. I have 3 separate savings accounts. So I have a house deposit account that's shared between me and my partner. I have my personal savings accounts, and I have my YouTube savings account. Then on top of that, I have all my other accounts that I, again, like put money in and out of. Setting up a new bank for everything that you do really separates all your expenses. I know a lot of people like to have a spreadsheet, then they just have everyday spendings, a kind of account where money goes in and out of, and then you have an account where money is taken out of for your bills, and then a savings account. I know it seems a bit extreme to have like 18 accounts, and you're probably wondering like, hey, don't you get bank fees? With the ones that we go with Westpac, you actually don't get any fees. It's just pretty much an online account. The only fees that we get money taken out of is direct debit joint accounts. There's kind of ways that you can go about it so that you don't have to pay these fees. It's kind of just, if you can think about it in a way, it's kind of like setting up lots of different folders for yourself and putting your work into different folders every single week. I feel like it helps separate things clearly, and it helps you be able to see where your money is and really helps you see what comes in and out of your accounts. The third tip that I have is set up direct debit accounts where you can. Obviously don't set up too much because that's where the fees come in from a lot of different banks, but in saying that, when you have direct debit accounts, the money just goes in and you don't even see it come out. Like, you know, when you pay a bill physically, it physically hurts you to see your money go away. You don't actually get that feeling with these kind of bills because you don't see the money go out at all. It's just gone one day. I feel like direct debiting is really good, and it's a good way to get on top of paying your bills at the correct time. I remember I used to have my car insurance and I never used to have it direct debit. Okay, I swear this happens every week, but my camera ran out of battery halfway through filming. As I was saying, I feel like setting up a direct debit account is really good for getting on top of your bills and paying it on time, because there's nothing worse than getting to pay a bill and you have these consequences that come with it. Say like you have to pay an extra fee. Sometimes with insurance, when you don't pay your insurance straight away, they actually cancel your fee.
Definitely not talking from personal experience, and definitely did not get in a car accident when my insurance was not paid.
I feel like direct debit is such a good way to be able to do it, but also be careful with the amount of direct debit accounts that you have because they do incur fees. The fourth tip that I have to saving a whole lot of money really quickly, and this is such a huge one, now that you have the money coming in and you have these accounts set up, like good job, good on you, the best thing to do for yourself right now is to live within your means. Sometimes when, say you see your salary, say it's $15,000 a fortnight, you get that directly into your account, and then you see that your expenses are $1,000 a fortnight, maybe you might get tempted to, I don't know, buy so much more or put things on a credit card because you're like, hey, like I could totally pay that off. I still have $500 difference between my expenses and my earnings. I have all this spare money. Why don't I put something on a credit card? No, absolutely not. This is where people go wrong. This is where people actually lose all their money. It's okay if there are things that are absolutely necessary, like say you're moving out of home for the first time and you needed to put like a vacuum on a credit card or something like that, that's fine. But don't do this. You don't need that new car. You really don't. You don't need to put an extra $300 on your expenses every single fortnight. It's just not necessary, and you really could just be saving that extra $500 a fortnight. You would be doing yourself a favor. Living in your means is so important, and I don't know how to reiterate this enough. Don't buy things that you don't have the money for. I get it. Sometimes there are times where it's like, hey, I have a bit of extra money right now. I'm earning a little bit extra. I want to buy a Gucci bag. And I'm not gonna lie, I do have those desires. I do have that within me. Definitely sometimes still feel the urge to want to buy a Gucci bag, Chanel bag, treat myself or something like that. But I know now, after I think lots of countless mistakes that I've made and watching me and my friends struggle with lots of different money problems that they've had, I know now not to buy that Gucci bag unless I have that Gucci bag money in my account. I will not buy anything anymore unless I know I have the money and the expenses for it. And in saying that, this is actually my fifth tip, is to buy everything outright. I feel like buying everything outright is so much more better. Like I said before, if you don't have the money for it, don't buy it. It's as simple as that. If you don't want to be in debt, don't buy it if you don't have the freaking money. I think the only loan or credit thing that I have is two things. I have obviously student loan and a car loan. The first time round that I bought a car, I paid it all outright. I gave the lady cash. I was like, you know what, take it, see ya, I don't want to see it anymore, just give me the car. I felt so free driving away. But I got into a car accident. I didn't actually want to buy a new car. I genuinely wanted to keep my old car for the next 10 years, and then I got into a car accident and it got written off. Something that I couldn't control, and I decided it would be best for me not to get the same car again and pay an extra $1,000 or $2,000 because the payout wasn't like that great. So I decided instead to get kind of like the upgrade of the car that I had previously. Now I have a car loan, which kind of sucks. It's very small. I tried to pay off as much as I could with it first and try to get as little as I could from the bank. But in saying that, I do have a car loan. I kind of wish I didn't have that, but you know what? It is what it is. If you can buy a car outright and save for it, do it. honestly, it'll be the best move for you personally, financially, even with phones. I feel like people get sucked into the idea of getting a phone. Say you think you get like a lot of benefits and a lot of good things from the phone, but then you end up paying like say $110, $120 a month, and you're locked into that plan for 2 years when really you could have just bought that phone outright. Let me just calculate it for a second. Say you have $110 a month, so that's times 12 for 2 years. That's $2,640 that you were paying for an iPhone 11, which came out last year. In reality, when I bought this phone, I think I paid like $1,900. That's an extra $700 you're paying on a plan just because you couldn't wait enough just to have the savings for it in the first place. That's why I'm saying buying things outright is so important. Every little thing, buying it outright is crucial rather than putting it on a credit card. This is so harsh. I'm just saying it how it is. This is how I talk to myself when saving money. I'm like, if you don't have the money, don't have to pay it. If you don't have the cash, don't put it on a credit card. If you want the phone but don't have the funds, save for it. Sorry, you're not gonna get a big ass phone bill every single month. Is this the 5th or the 6th? I can't even remember. I think the 6th. The 6th tip that I have for you guys when saving money is where you can lower your expenses. So my expenses currently are at the lowest they possibly can be, minus my rainy day savings, are something like $700 a fortnight. So all my salary and everything that I earn on top of that will pretty much be delegated into different savings, but that's just my salary, not on top of YouTube money as well as that. I don't make a lot of YouTube money at the moment, but sometimes I do get a decent lump sum. Saying that, lower your expenses where you can. A huge part of people paying too much is when it comes to their rent. I'm gonna be completely honest and completely transparent, not to flex or anything like that. I know it's uncomfortable to talk about money, but I'm just gonna say it. In this house that I live in right now, it is a 3-bedroom house with a full-on backyard in a nice suburb, very, very close to everything pretty much. I'm very close to the city, the motorway, nice restaurants. There's like nice bus facilities really close. We pay something like $290 a week per rent. And you're probably like, I'm sorry, what? That's less than $1,200 a month. But it's literally because this house is so old and it's falling apart, and it's not amazing for sure, and it's not brand new, but it literally depends on, I guess, how you want to live. If you want to live like this, have really, really low expenses and have more financial freedom in other areas of your life, then go do it, because that's what I wanted to do. If you're not up for that, then go ahead. You can 100% pay a little bit of extra money for a better house, but you could also save money in other areas of your life. Lowering your expenses can come with so many different things other than just rent. With food, depending on how much money you want to put towards food. In saying that, I 100% always recommend eating at home and not taking away food. People spend so much money on takeaway, and I know I can get trapped into that as well, because you can get lazy to cook sometimes, or socially wise, it's just weird when you're the one that's bringing food to an event or something like that, because you just feel like the odd person out. The best way to socialize, I think, is inviting people over to your house or asking people to go on a picnic and literally just getting a coffee or bringing your own food that you brought from home. I like to do that a lot when I like to go on catch-ups or socialize. I love to just invite people over because I can save money on food. I don't have to go out and eat, or I'll just ask someone like, hey, let's go to a park, or hey, let's go to a lookout point, and we'll just hang out there pretty much. Obviously, if I was at a nice restaurant at a nice event, I will drop the money for it and I'll spend it. I'm not saying I'm being cheap or anything, but I know where to spend my money in the most appropriate places and the most appropriate times for me. You could save money on a phone bill for sure. Like I said before, you don't need to buy the brand new iPhone. Pay a $110 phone bill a month. That's just ridiculous. I pay literally $39 a month on my phone bill because I bought my phone outright and tried to find the best plan for me that was cheap but also gave a lot of data. Things like you don't need Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, Stan, Disney Plus. You don't need all of that. Just choose 1 or 2 of them at the most and stream everything else where you can online for free. That's probably illegal, but yeah. A big one is insurance. So when I first got my car, I had a little 2006 Yaris, already 10 years old, and I was paying $120 a month on insurance, and that was ridiculous. I now pay something like $80 a month or $70 something a month on insurance, and that was because when I was brand new to the insurance game, just got my car and everything, I went and got everything. I got the extra rental hire car, I got extra windscreen wiper cracking stuff, I got all the extras, and it literally made my insurance go up so much. But now I've taken away all the extras, I've made my excess not the very minimum that it could be, but something like $750, $800. I know I'll probably pay for it if I ever get into a car crash at some time, but in saying that, don't get into a car crash in the first place. There's so many ways that you can get around with lowering your expenses where you can. You've just gotta, I think, compromise and figure out what's important to you and where you actually want to spend your money, and be very careful with that. And the seventh tip, or is it sixth or seventh tip that I have is have some self-control. This is something that I would always tell myself, like all the time. Always like wanting to eat out all the time, wanting to spend money on new makeup, new clothes, a new bag or something like that. And I literally had to physically restrain myself all the time. If you want to have nice new things and you want to spend money, something that I found that was really helpful was thrifting for me. I found that buying cheaper clothes and buying a lot of, I guess, thrifted clothes for cheaper, like rather than paying $70 for a new top, I would probably pay $70 for 10 new tops. That helped me a lot when I was really trying to save money. And I think being really conscious of where you're going, where you're spending your money, you don't need to say yes to everyone. You don't need to feel obliged to go to every single event and pay a ridiculous amount of money just to go somewhere. I feel like you should sort out your priorities and really figure out who is most important to you and where you would spend your money on. In saying that, I'm not saying like you need to stop spending, save your money and take it all in. I'm just saying in this, I just feel like I found a lot of financial freedom in being able to save money and being able to save what I have. This is something that has taken me like 7 years to figure out. I am now like 24. I got my first job when I was 17, and all I used to do back then was spend my money all the time. And I guess it was something I wish I knew, because now I would have so much more in my savings. I wouldn't be in the position that I would be in today. We all learn, and yeah, this is why I'm sharing these tips. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Just wanted to make this video because I was thinking about my wedding, and I definitely want to do a wedding video really soon in relation to, I guess, all things wedding related, and also budgeting and all that stuff. I wanted to have this foundational video first before I release anything else in relation to that. Let me know below what your savings tips are. I would always love to learn more and know more, and if you guys have some really good savings tips which I haven't mentioned at all, leave them down below. I'd love to read through them. And yeah, I hope you're all having a wonderful day, wonderful night, wherever you are. Subscribe to me if you haven't already. I post new videos every Tuesday and now Friday, and follow me on my Instagram. It's at ivy_Nicole with 2 E's. Bye!